Okay, so let's jump right in. I want you to imagine a sauce that takes months to make. And its smell? So overpowering, it could literally make a whole city unlivable. But get this, a single bottle could sell for what would be thousands of dollars today. From the fanciest tables in Rome, all the way down to the rations of the poorest soldiers, there was one thing they all had in common, a sauce called garum. And today, we're going to uncork the mystery of this ancient liquid.
And right there, that's the heart of the mystery, isn't it? The central paradox of garum. I mean, on one side, you have this unbearable smell. It was so bad they literally had to ban its production inside city walls. But on the other side, it was so precious that people called it liquid gold. It was a cornerstone of the entire Roman economy. So how could something be so disgusting and so desirable at the exact same time? That's the big question we're going to dig into.
You know, you might be tempted to call it the ketchup or soy sauce of its day, but honestly, that doesn't even come close. The Romans put this stuff on everything. I'm talking fish, meat, and here's the wild part, even their desserts. Can you imagine? This wasn't just some little condiment you'd find on the side. No, this was a fundamental flavor of the entire Roman Empire.
All right, so to really get a handle on its power, we've got to uncover its stinking secret. What was actually in this stuff, and how in the world did they make it? I'll give you a little warning, though. The answer is not for the faint of heart.
Okay, so here's how they did it. And what's wild is just how simple and kind of brutal the process was. First, you take a bunch of oily fish, think mackerel or anchovies. You combine all of it, the guts, the blood, the flesh, everything, and pack it into these huge vats. Then, and this is the key, you add a ton of salt. That's what kept it from just, rotting into a disgusting mess. And after that, you just leave the whole thing out to ferment under the hot sun for months. The fish's own enzymes do all the work, just breaking everything down. And that clear amber liquid that eventually forms on top, that was the garum. That was the prize.
So you can probably guess what happens when you leave fish guts to bake in the sun for months, right? The smell was legendary. We're talking so overpowering, so intense, that Roman law actually made it illegal to produce garum inside city walls. All the factories had to be built way out on remote coastlines so the wind would hopefully carry that stench away from everyone.
Which, of course, brings us right back to that big question. If making it was so disgusting, why would anyone go through all that trouble? Why was this smelly fish liquid worth an absolute fortune? And when I say a fortune, I mean it. We don't even have to guess how valuable it was. The famous Roman writer Pliny the Elder wrote about it, and he called it, quote, the most expensive liquid apart from bodily fluids. I mean, wow, that tells you everything you need to know about its status. This wasn't just food, it was a luxury good, right up there with the finest perfumes.
And believe me, garum was big, big business. Archaeologists in places like Pompeii have dug up tons of these large clay jars called amphorae, and they have labels on them, just like you see here. They name the producer, like this guy, Aulus Umbricius Scours, who was one of the richest men in Pompeii. They list the type of fish, the quality, all of it. This proves it wasn't some backyard operation. It was a massive, branded industry with fierce competition, kind of like the wine world today.
Okay, so we've established it was super valuable. But what was the secret? What made this stuff so addictive that people would pay a fortune for it? Well, to answer that, we have to get a little bit into the science of taste. The answer lies in one powerful word, a word the Romans didn't even have, but they sure understood its effect.
And that word is umami, the fifth basic taste. See, that whole long fermentation process created this incredibly high concentration of natural glutamates. So when you added garum to a dish, it didn't just add saltiness. Oh no, it was like a flavor amplifier. It cranked up every other taste, adding this deep, savory complexity that just made food irresistible. It was a flavor bomb like nothing else they had.
And because of that amazing power, it was used everywhere and by everyone. The rich and famous would mix the really high-end stuff called liquamen with wine or honey to make these incredible glazes. But it absolutely wasn't just for the wealthy. The Roman army actually gave its soldiers a daily ration of a cheaper garum. Think about it. It added some much-needed flavor and a solid protein boost to their otherwise boring food. You could say garum literally helped fuel the Roman Empire.
So what happened to it? Well, when the Roman Empire fell, that massive garum industry basically crumbled right along with it. But the idea of it, that amazing umami flavor, that never really went away. It just kind of went underground, re-emerging in different places all over the world.
And you can see its spirit is still alive and well. in so many modern sauces. If you go to Italy's Amalfi Coast, they still make a sauce called colatra di alici, which is pretty much a direct descendant. And think about Southeast Asian fish sauce, a key ingredient in Thai and Vietnamese food that's basically Garum's culinary twin. Even Worcestershire sauce. Go ahead, look at the ingredients. One of the main ones is fermented anchovies. It's a direct link, hiding right there in our cupboards.
So yeah, this pungent legacy, it's still with us, hiding in plain sight. Which brings me to one last question for you. If you had the chance, right now, to try a spoonful of the real deal, authentic, ancient garum, the flavor that defined an entire empire, would you be brave enough to do it?